Dominating the skyline in Pocatello, Idaho, is an unusual structure which faintly resembles a giant Quonset hut, or may even look a little like an outsized version of the potato cellars which abound in southeast Idaho. Indeed, this building is beginning to rival the famous potato among the chief attractions of the Gem State. For this is the Minidome at Idaho State University, one of the most versatile facilities ever built on a university campus. Yes, they play football indoors in Pocatello, here in the nation's first covered collegiate stadium, where the weather is always predictable and there isn't a bad seat in the house. Indeed, the combination of controlled climate, comfortable individual seating, and the convenience of night games make the Minidome an ideal arena for America's most popular sport. As many as 12,000 shirt-sleeved spectators can watch Idaho State's Bengals play their colorful style of football against strong Big Sky Conference opponents like the Wildcats of Weber State College. Another foe the Bengals meet regularly, and one which has applied for membership in the Big Sky Conference, is Portland State University. In 9 meetings with ISU, the Vikings have never won, and this September night was particularly disastrous for Portland as the Bengals rolled up a winning score of 51-6. The Bengals usually play a home schedule of only 5 games, but the Minidome also serves as home base for Pocatello's 2 senior high schools, and other prep schools in the area also rent the facility. In fact, in one season alone, 29 football games were staged in the ISU arena. The Minidome is also ideally suited for television coverage, and millions of ABC network viewers joined a capacity Minidome crowd to watch the Bengal offense demolish the University of Idaho, while a tenacious ISU defense held the Vandals to a single touchdown. The final score, ISU 35, Idaho 7. A week earlier, the Bengals had tuned up for their network television debut in a much closer contest, a 14-7 victory over another Big Sky opponent, the Grizzlies from the University of Montana, twice winners of the conference championship. Besides their tough conference schedule, the Bengals also meet outstanding teams from many other parts of the country. A fairly frequent opponent is Drake University of Des Moines, Iowa. And in this 1972 Minidome contest, a field goal made the difference as ISU upset the nationally ranked Bulldogs 24-21 to even the series between the two schools at 3 games apiece. But whatever the record of wins and losses, and there will be bad seasons along with the good ones, the significant fact is that America's first indoor collegiate stadium has added a new dimension to football in the Intermountain West. ISU teams played for more than 30 years in an unlighted outdoor stadium where crowds averaged only about 4,000, kept down by bad weather and conflicts with outdoor activities like hunting and fishing. The average attendance for a night game in the Minidome is 10,000 people. And particularly for the high schools who also use the facility, the Minidome has changed football from a budget deficit to a self-supporting, even a profitable activity. Through the fall months, the remarkable Minidome offers Idaho fans a variety of football fare at all levels of competition. Outstanding collegiate and prep school contests, a unique series of high school football doubleheaders, even championship playoffs among the area's Little League teams. There was some opposition at first to the idea of a covered sports arena, but in January 1968, the Associated Students voted to approve the project and to finance it by issuing revenue bonds in the amount of $2.8 million. To retire the bonds, the students agreed to increase their registration fee. Construction began with the clearing of a 45-acre site on what the university calls its upper campus. The unique design concept called for excavating to a depth of 20 feet, spanning the excavation with 6 massive steel arches rising another 89 feet, and covering the superstructure with an insulated metal skin. The result, a 400 by 420-foot building with a clear span at its center of 103 feet. Construction began in October 1968, and 2 years later, on September 26, 1970, the Minidome was officially open for use. And those who had said it couldn't be done had to eat their words. Idaho State University had completed a 12,000-seat multipurpose sports arena for under $3 million, less than the cost of many limited-use outdoor stadiums in the Intermountain area, and less than 1/10 as expensive as its big brother, the $30 million Houston Astrodome. But Idaho State is just as proud of its facility as Texans were of theirs, and stadium manager Michael King welcomes every opportunity to take visitors through the building. Food concession stands, one on each side of the building, are large and specially equipped for fast service. Dressing room facilities located under the bleachers originally were provided only on one side of the Minidome, along with equipment and storage areas and offices for the university's Department of Intercollegiate Athletics. A recent revision of the building's north side, however, has added an additional locker room, a new dressing room for game officials, and a well-equipped training area for ISU athletes. Also located on the north side are the Minidome management offices and a hospitality room named for longtime university booster Sam Benyon. Each spectator at a Minidome event gets an individual contoured fiberglass seat fastened with an epoxy system to precast concrete benches. The football playing field, 73,000 square feet of it, is topped with an artificial grass called polyturf. Beneath the turf, however, are other materials which help to provide a soft landing area for aggressive football players. First, a shock-absorbing pad called Insulite was secured to a 2-inch asphalt base. Over this went a material known as Uniturf, which is designed to distribute a player's impact. And finally, the bright green polyturf was bonded to the other layers. The completed playing surface is nearly 2 inches thick, soft and safe, and almost indestructible. Access to a Minidome event is both convenient and efficient. Concession stands are located in both hallways, convenient to all entrances, and tunnels through the bleachers lead directly to the seating areas. Tickets are colored to correspond to the seating sections and also bear the numbers of the entrance and tunnel nearest to the spectator's reserved seat. When football season ends, the Minidome is refitted for indoor track and basketball. ISU's basketball team goes into action on a portable floor made by the DeNatale Company, which can be erected or torn down in less than a day, and which is stored beneath the stands during the off-season. The Bengals rarely lose at home, but anything can happen when Weber State College comes to town. And this night, the Wildcats edged past Idaho State 66-64 after the Bengals had battled back from a dismal first half to tie the score with 8 seconds left. The Weber victory gave the two teams a split for the season, as the Bengals had won 71-67 3 weeks earlier on the Wildcats' court in Ogden, Utah. The following night, the Bengals regained their winning form with a decisive 88-61 victory over Northern Arizona University, which, along with an earlier 85-66 win in Flagstaff, made it 2 in a row over the hapless Lumberjacks. From here, the Bengals went on to win 5 of their next 7 games, en route to the 1974 Big Sky Conference Championship. Tied with the University of Montana at the end of regular conference play, with 11 wins and 3 losses apiece, the Bengals won sole possession of the conference title by defeating the Grizzlies in a playoff game in Missoula. The spaciousness and seating capacity of the Minidome make it ideal for regional sports events such as the NCAA's first-round basketball tournament. Portable bleachers seating an additional 2,000 fans are placed on the turf for such events. And 13,000 people filled the arena to near capacity for this 1972 clash between Brigham Young University and Long Beach State, a game featured on national television with veteran NBC sportcaster Kurt Gowdy handling the play-by-play commentary. The NCAA first-round tournament returned to the Minidome in 1974, and this time featured Idaho State's Big Sky champion Bengals in action against the New Mexico Lobos, champions of the Western Athletic Conference. The Bengals led through much of the first half before New Mexico's rebounding and pressure defense took over. ISU was within 2 points for most of the second half, but a cold shooting spell in the last few minutes made the difference as the Lobos pulled away to win by 8 points, 73-65. Along with collegiate competition, high school basketball is a regular feature of the Minidome's winter season. The city's 2 prep schools stage their annual crosstown rivalry here, and in March, the Minidome is the site of the state A1 tournament. The High School Activities Association used to rotate the A1 tournament among Idaho's major cities, but the Minidome's size and the loyal support of Southeast Idaho spectators have enabled the association to more than double its revenue, and so the tournament has remained in Pocatello since 1971. Idaho State's Reed Gymnasium held 3,500 people at most and was rarely full. Basketball in the Minidome regularly draws crowds which would have overflowed the old gymnasium, and the arena fills nearly to capacity for special tournament events. Drill teams from area colleges and high schools provide entertainment throughout the indoor season. Local teams also use the Minidome to practice their routines, and they join with other outstanding groups from Idaho and surrounding states for an annual drill team competition. Idaho State's Thin-Clads had dominated the Big Sky Conference for many years, but track and field was never much of a spectator sport in Idaho until the advent of the Minidome. It was hard to believe at first that record-breaking races were being run in Pocatello, Idaho, but when 11 world records were either tied or broken in the first 7 meets, it soon became apparent that the Minidome's 220-yard oval and its 140-yard straightaway added up to one of the fastest indoor tracks anywhere. Field events in the sports arena attract some of the nation's top shot putters, and perhaps the best of a premier field is Al Feuerbach of the Pacific Coast Club, who set a new indoor record in the Minidome and later went on to capture the all-time world outdoor record at 71 feet, 7 inches. Idaho State's Bengals can hold their own with any of the collegiate and amateur teams who come to compete. One of many stellar performers is the Bengals' great sprinter, Carl Lawson, who holds Minidome records in 5 events from 60 to 440 yards. His marks in 2 of these, the 100 and 220-yard dashes, are also world indoor records, and he ran on the Bengals' world record 880-yard relay team. Competing here in the 300-yard dash, Carl pulled away from the field for an ISU victory. Indeed, track and field has become a major attraction in Pocatello and the Minidome. Outstanding collegiate and high school teams, noted amateur track clubs, and great unattached individual performers all compete during the indoor season before crowds of 7,000 to 10,000 spectators. The editor of Track and Field News probably summed it up best when he wrote in a 1973 issue of his magazine, "I haven't seen all the indoor track facilities by a long shot, but I find it hard to believe any could be better than that amazing Minidome at Idaho State University in Pocatello. All in all, it's an enjoyable, even an inspiring place to watch a track meet." Women's events are a regular feature of the indoor season, and the annual Sam Benyon Relays in particular attracts world-class competitors like distance runner Francie LaRue, sprinter Kathy Lawson, and hurdler Patty Johnson. Miss Johnson, in fact, has set 2 world records in the Minidome. In 1973, the International Track Association chose the Minidome for the world's first professional track and field meet. Emceed by Marty LaCory, the pro meet featured names like Brian Oldfield and Randy Matson in the shot put, runners Lee Evans and Jim Ryan, pole vaulter Bob Segrin. More than 10,000 fans saw the first professional meet, an indoor crowd exceeded only at Madison Square Garden and the Inglewood Forum. So the ITA included the Minidome in Pocatello on its schedule again in 1974. But spectator sports really play only a minor role in this multipurpose facility. Nearly half of its use is by students in physical education classes and in a dozen different intramural sports. Stadium officials estimate that PE classes and intramurals account for about 35% of the building's use. The Department of Intercollegiate Athletics uses the facility about 45% of the time, and the remaining 20% is devoted to local community activities. A typical day for the Minidome begins as early as 5:30 in the morning, with practices by drill teams and marching bands from the local high schools, and the building remains in use as late as 11 p.m. for intramural activities or spectator events. Excellent acoustics, a high-quality sound system, and a portable stage make the arena easily convertible for a variety of musical events, ranging from rock concerts to symphony orchestras. Performers have varied from Neil Diamond, the Foremost Authority, and other popular groups of the 70s, to Bill Cosby, Johnny Cash, and Henry Mancini. And one of the best-received shows was an appearance in Pocatello by the United States Marine Corps Band. An LDS dance festival drew the largest crowd ever recorded in the Minidome, 18,000 people, and more than 14,000 were in attendance for the first Idaho appearance of the famous Mormon Tabernacle Choir. Complicated productions requiring elaborate scenery and staging, like the traveling company of Disney on Parade, even roller derby, are all possible in the Minidome. In fact, the variety of events seems almost unlimited. Officially, it is the Associated Students of Idaho State University Minidome, a name chosen by the students who financed its construction and who comprise a majority on its governing committee. And as President William Bud Davis awards diplomas at spring commencement, he may be recalling the skeptics back in 1968 who said the idea would never work. The Minidome still has its critics, but now they ask, why did you build it so small? The first collegiate facility of its kind, ISU's Minidome, may very well have established a pattern for the future. For as President Davis has pointed out, wherever money is scarce and the weather is unpredictable, such an arena can solve many problems. For Idaho State University, the Minidome truly has become a stadium for all seasons.